and I'm getting mighty tired of your trifling ways and of listening to that jackass Bray.
This is my first video recording with the Apple AirPods as my audio source. I love these AirPods. I've had them for several months now, and I bought them knowing that I wouldn't be able to record audio in a video format using the Apple native camera app. I knew that. I downloaded an app today. It's called Movie Pro, and it's not proprietary to Apple. It cost me just under $9, and this has allowed me to record this video with my AirPods as my microphone. And I love it because I get great range. I'm completely wireless. I have used in previous videos the 3.5 millimeter lav mic, and with my new iPhone 10 that I'm recording with, there is no 3.5 millimeter jack. Therefore, I had to jump into getting this app. So I'm pretty happy with it so far. I've tested it a little bit. Let me know in the comment section if you think it's working pretty good on your end as the receiver. And I'm also going to transpose this video audio onto my podcast. And you can find my podcast, it's brand new, on Apple iTunes, on Google Play, and a few other platforms. And the name of my podcast is called David Fouad Real Estate Audio Adventure. This will allow you guys to listen to the audio of my videos on your own time doing other things. I do the same with the people I follow and watch and consume. I'm able to watch their content, of course, on video, but also listen to the audio transcriptions, if you will, in a podcast. That might seem a bit weird at first for some of you because you're listening to what you know is very motion based. But when you realize it's simply audio, you can put two and two together and just digest it as it is. So let's get started with the video today. I want to talk to you about a true story of someone who flipped a property for some good gains, and they didn't talk about any of the details in the video that they posted. There is a self-proclaimed, self-prolific real estate flipping coach in the city, and I'm not going to mention any names because it's going to be a dead giveaway if I say the name, but this person put an ad and it entered into my Facebook newsfeed. And this ad was a video of his client sitting in a swanky tuxedo house with a DJ and a bunch of people enjoying themselves with some drinks, and there's some fantastic furniture in the house. And it was only a couple minutes, and in the video, the client was explaining what he paid for the property, what he put into the property, and therefore what he made. And there's no other details in the video. I find this type of marketing in relation to real estate very misleading. I find it a type of bait and switch form of marketing. And in real estate, as a licensed realtor, I cannot do these types of things. But because these real estate flipping coaches are not licensed under any type of governing body, they don't really have to follow any rules. And they can get away with saying a lot of things that unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, fortunately, we can't get away with as licensed people. And I think that's a good thing. Even if I could get away with those things, it's not in my nature and in the way I do things naturally, so I wouldn't do it. But this person makes a living doing that. So let's get into the details. I did some math. It's completely accurate. This person sold this property, a fancy house in Tuxedo, for 1.265 million. So it was listed on MLS. I found it because in the ad, the client said, and I'm going to say client and flipper interchangeably, said it's for sale at 1.285 million. That's how I was able to discover the house, confirm that it's real, match it to what I saw in the video. In the video, the client said, I put in $250,000 in repairs, and I bought the house for $650,000. I'm unfortunately not able to confirm this amount because it was bought privately. It wasn't put on MLS as an original listing. That means that their upfront costs were $900,000, and that leaves a gross gain, if you will, at $365,000. What they don't tell you in these flipping advertising videos, or also in the coaching, they don't really get a lot into it, from my understanding at the beginning, is that you need 20% down to purchase a property to flip. Now, I'm going to quantify that and qualify that. 20% is 20% of the purchase price. So 20% of, in this case, it's 900,000 because the person who flipped the property most likely borrowed this money inside of a mortgage. Therefore, 20% of 900 is 180,000. Now, usually what happens is in these flipping programs, they say no money down. Don't use your own money, use other people's money. This is how we do it. Come see it in our seminars, in our monthly meetings. Nonetheless, if they borrow at 10% from a private lender, and I have confirmed this with many of these people, that 10% would be $18,000 for the year. Now this size flip would take about 12 months to do. That means a mortgage at $720,000. I confirm this. An open variable mortgage today is at 4.77%. That makes a total of $24,330 of interest for that year. That means a total finance cost of $42,330. Now, realtors don't work for free. At 5%, that's $63,250. Land transfer tax for the purchase is $10,650 in Manitoba. And lawyer fees, approximately $1,000 each end, so $2,000. So that means closing costs of $75,900. There's a thing that we all have to pay, taxes. This type of income that is being earned, a gain, is considered a capital gain. In Canada, 50% of the capital gain is taxable. So the taxable capital gain at 50%, that leaves $123,385 net taxable gain. Most of these flipping clients, they are comfortable usually dealing with $100,000 to $150,000 per person. There's no way that this client, in my opinion, and based on what I've learned from a lot of these flipping clubs and coaching programs, is partnership. And they sometimes refer to partnership when talking about wholesaling. And I'm not going to get into wholesaling because I just don't do it, but that's part of the flipping world. So in this case, this client would probably have 6 partners. Now these 6 partners usually have a coaching fee or membership fee. I've heard as little as $5,000 to as much as $10,000. And usually those are one-time fees. And I do know that they usually have monthly fees in these investment clubs. And when I say the word investment, I shouldn't be using it because investments usually mean using your own money and investing in the long term. Flipping, I don't consider investing. You can tell that I'm a bit snarky in this video. Okay, 5,000 each. You do the math, that's multiplied by 6. And the net taxable gain for each partner, we take it from here, is $20,564. There's tax on that. Now, the capital gains tax is based on the marginal tax rate of the taxpayer. Usually, if somebody is good at what they do, maybe has a successful career, because really when you're making approximately $80,000, $90,000 gross per year in Manitoba, that leaves you with a marginal tax rate at the maximum, which is 50%. I'm going to make an assumption that these partners are at a marginal tax rate of 50%. That leaves a net income, so that means money in their pockets, each of $10,282. That might sound great. Hey, they made $10,000 in a year or slightly less. But what I'm getting at is it's not that great. For example, myself personally, I have 2 properties that I'm actively renting right now. And both those properties, gross for me closer to $33,000 for the year. Now that's not net. I do have plenty of expenses. Almost 50% of my revenue that I get from my rents, I have expenses. For example, one of those properties, I have over $6,000 in condo fees per year. Between those two properties, I have approximately $5,000 of property tax. And the list goes on. I'm making more than this amount per year, and I still own a property. In fact, several properties. It takes longer doing things my way because it's a long-term investment. I'm using my own money. I have no partners. I'm not using any type of crowdfunding, and I'm not using any private borrowing. Flipping definitely does not make sense in the long term. In the short term, I see the appeal because it's relatively fast, and when you have everything lined up, all the tradespeople, all the dates, and all the other details, it can be a great experience. But if you want to really get into succeeding in real estate as an investment, you need decades, you need to use your own money, and you also need to believe and see the data that shows that capital appreciation trumps any type of capital gain you can make from buying and selling in the short term. It's the way it is. It's the same principle that Warren Buffett has with his long-term stocks and bond investing. In fact, he doesn't do really any bond investing from what I understand. It's mostly entirely stocks, in other words, equities. And he's 87 years old and he's still at it. People are living longer, people are healthier. Long-term real estate investing makes more sense than it ever has in history of humanity. Don't be suckered into flipping. Don't be suckered into the coaching. Believe me, investing in long-term real estate, the way that I do it, will pay out in mass amounts of dividends in decades to come. Mark my word. And if you have any questions, connect with me directly at info@davidfouad.com. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great rest of your day.